Counting. Um. Good morning, Oni-chan. Good morning, Lux of Fate. Good morning, Egigoka. Good morning, Z Graves. Where you been? Where have you been? Also, thank you for calling me Maple, Lux of Fate. Thank you for calling me Queen Egigoka. Commanding the Consultant 427, commanding Fisty, commanding Library Turtle, commanding. How is the Queen doing? The Queen is crashing out again. Commanding Suck. Oh, wait, that wasn't for me. Commanding Master Protos, thank you for welcoming me to the. Commanding Kanan. Yeah, I'm crashing out. A little bit. Tiny bit, tiny bit, tiny bit. One thing I want to check with my VODs is I was reading something today about about how female emotions change with the menstrual cycle and ovulation. Good morning, Rio. Mounting LDTGX, mounting random passerby, good mounting Izuku. Been working. Oh, that's good that you're working though. And I read that at the most fertile period of the cycle, women's voices will be like higher pitched, I think. Something like that. Softer, get more feral. Commanding Lofi return. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not feeling that good today. I don't know. Yeah, it might have to do with sleep. It might have to do with other things as well as sleep. But I was having a dream, and then something that I thought about while I was dreaming, as I was waking up, is something like in the dream I was wondering why life is why life is so hard. Like, why is it so difficult for me? And then the answer that I gave myself was that it's supposed to be, and that the trick of life is leading you to believe that it's not going to be what it's supposed to be. And I have no idea. I'm not saying that that's true, but it's something that I thought about as I was waking. Yeah. I'm full of unhappiness. I'm full of a lot of layers of unhappiness. Good morning, your boyni. No story time. Life would be unironically easier if we were still hunter-gatherers. Life is literally easy if you're living in a first world, even second world country. It could have easily devolved into both, so that's a blessing. Didn't miss piss talk at least. I didn't think that dream answer was weird, Fisty. I didn't think it was weird. I thought it was kind of telling. Um, Koishi, meowing, I'm not cute. Um, uh, it's unfair to say that I'm depressed, though. I'm not depressed. I'm just like aware of my reality. We talked about this yesterday, but it's like I can either change my life and make it better, or I can change how I feel about my life and try to feel better. But the latter part isn't really working. Trying to change the way I feel, it's like just trying to gaslight myself into thinking that I'm happy when I'm very much not the case. And and then trying to change feels really impossible at the moment. Um because of my own skill issue, right? I started thinking about conscientiousness is something that I don't have, right? It's like when you are accountable, when you're diligent, when you do the things that you say you're going to do, when you plan and follow through. Those are traits that I don't have and I wish to acquire. Not just wish. I'm like trying. I'm not just thinking about acquiring them. I feel like every day I'm trying again to learn to acquire them. And I'm not seeking advice, by the way. This is not seeking advice. I'm just saying um that I struggle. I have a lot of things that I want to do. And yesterday as well, I was trying to talk about how clocks are a form of social control. And today I was reading some notes on the internet and about programmable attention. Demanding, knucklerious. If I think about stuff too much for you, you don't have to be here. um, I think you'd be considered depressed to a clinically significant degree by many docs, unless they happen to see you on an atypical good day. And then he has BPD. Don't believe she mentioned having depression. Yeah, I've been diagnosed as depressed many times throughout my life. But at this moment, the reason I don't think it's depression is because I think my baseline is rather low. Anyway, let's talk about what I want to talk about programmable attention again. And because I think that's what I was trying to get at, where your attention is your lived experience, like this moment, whatever you are attending to. This is your life, by the way. If you think this is a waste of your life, you should leave because you don't get these minutes back. Um the idea is that just like a you know a software developer can create a program that does a thing, completes a task, automates some function, perhaps we can also program our own attention. And also, what I'm thinking is that perhaps the things in our life, the things we do and use, if we're not the authors of the program, it can be programmed for us, right? In a way, if you work a 9 to 5 kind of job and you are told what your schedule is, your work is programming you. They're deciding, during this time you're going to do these activities for us. And meow, 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 meow. Yeah, there's just a lot of things I want to do in a day, and there aren't enough hours in the day where like the amount of time, or it's like it's not even like, there are just the right amount of hours, but like the amount of focus, energy, motivation, like having the indistractability, like the being less emotional, all that stuff, like having the mood be right, all of those things coinciding doesn't seem to happen very much. Work is sacrificing your time and life for money, perhaps. Man in Podeko. Gym is sacrificing your time and life for sick gains. Yeah, but you could get sick gains outside of the gym too, though. But yeah, that's nice. Anyway, wouldn't that be habit control and discipline, though? Um, I think habit control and discipline are variables that are in the program, but not everyone has the same variables or the same weights on them. The time will definitely pass. Um, Other things I did today. I went through my current list of books that I'm reading because I noticed that like I'm not looking forward to reading a lot of them. And then I wondered, is there like an optimal number of books that I should read at any given time? I could be a normie and read one book at a time. But some days, or zero, as Izuku says, like just not be a normie and just not read at all. Some days, though, I don't feel like reading a book for a variety of reasons. So as I looked at that list of my currently reading books, because I was tempted to add another book to it, but I'm not done with the other ones. I looked at my folders for uh the ones I've completed and the ones that I abandoned. And what I realized is I keep a book log of all the books I've completed, and I also write some of my thoughts about them. I don't really take notes. I don't take notes. I do take screenshots of quotes that I like, but I honestly don't review them that often. I want to That's like a whole other subject that I want to think about, how I can make my reading more useful to me by having a note-taking system that's not overly burdensome, but that allows me to kind of like build on knowledge instead of just, going in one ear out the other and forgetting about what I read very quickly. That's like a other thing. But I realized that I didn't have a process for my abandoned booked files, and so I made a different kind of I made a different kind of log for abandoned books today. And I wrote down, yeah, each book by their title and author, and then I wrote about why I stopped reading why I stopped reading each book. And I will, you could ask why they aren't applicable to your life. Sure, yeah. So, you just need a lot of bookmarks. Well, I'm doing all of my reading. Actually, that's not true. Most of my reading is digital, but I do have the Art of War that I've been flipping through. 1 second, let me see. I'll share some of it with you. Why not? I can do whatever I want. This is my stream. So there was a book, Randomness, by the author Deborah Bennett. I picked the wrong time to read this. It does seem interesting, as it really dives deep into the history of randomness at the start, but I feel like I was looking for a more fundamental knowledge of the statistics related to randomness and not a history. So, yeah, that's a book that I stopped reading, but I might come back to. And then on the other hand, there was one, okay, the one that I talked about before. Why Buddhism is True by Robert Wright. I picked this up back when I was trying to read books to completion no matter what. It started off okay. I'm interested in Buddhist beliefs and practices, but the more I read, the more it felt like an opportunity for the author to analyze and dissect his own life. His writing felt pretentious and uninteresting. He seemed to skip swiftly past the parts of the story that I came there for, while spending a lot of time going on and on about his personal meditation retreats. He also seems like a jerk and a womanizer. Anyway, these are like this. What is an anti-review? It's like it's kind of like it's like a review, but like it's like just a blurb. And I started to think that because people often give a list of books that they recommend to others, but it's less often that you get a list of like anti-recommendations, things you should not read. Dare I say the author was quite shallow and pedantic. Anyway, that is what I would expect from that sort of book. Man, I should have known it was like a new age type, but a negative review is still a review. But Z Graves, can I call it a review if I didn't finish it? Also, good meowing goon Maxine bot sell. Replace all the books you don't want to read with Japanese anything and become a full weeaboo. Speaking of Japanese, good meowing, good afternoon, and good night to all the kitty cats in the world. You're watching Love Talk with Mrs. Moonson. This is a daily talk show where a kitten who's smitten chats about love, life, and anime. In no particular order. I go live every day, supposedly, at 8 o'clock Universal, but that's not true. And nothing ever changes. According to my Twitch 2025 recap, boy, I love those recaps because I do like data, but at the same time, I hate big tech. That's all I have to say. Like, I love the data. I love seeing my own data, but I hate big tech. But yeah, it was brought to my attention that I streamed for 365 days last year, which is nice. And no, Fisty, it doesn't reveal how much they monitor you. It barely scratches the surface of how much they monitor you. They do a lot more. I want to see my data, but I don't want them to have my data. That's closer to it, Oni-chan. Thank you, LDTX, for congratulating me. Anyway, today is oops. Not oops. Today's Otaku Tuesday. Something. Hobbies. So now I'll share that with you. share a cute anime with you. After School Dice Club. I don't have a synopsis with me because I don't know. I got sidetracked right before stream and then I just gave up. I just gave up on it. But it's so cute. I watched the first episode. It's so cute. I'll share some screenshots with you. Give me a moment. To demonstrate what I mean. Where did I put? Yeah, man. Oh no. Oh no. Did I delete them? I couldn't have deleted them that long. Oh, wow. So big. This is the wrong one anyway. Wait, let me add the other one first. Is this the one where they play real life board games? Yes, it is. It's an anime about girls playing board games, and it's so cute. It's so cute, and it made me quite happy. And like when I do all this reading and thinking and reading, I kind of hate life and I want to not be part of this world anymore. But then I see anime girls and all of that change. Anyway, you can't see me, but you don't need to. So I had to take screenshots because it was so funny. So, this is I'll explain. There's a girl with blue hair. Is kind of like shy and she's new. She's not from this town, but she moved here and she feels like she doesn't really have interest. So she doesn't have friends, she doesn't have interest. And she even takes this path home that's kind of like away from the main road so that she can avoid people. And then as she's like thinking to herself about how lonely she is, another girl uh comes barreling towards her on a bike and like skids off and ends up in the river. And yeah, the blue-haired girl was kind of just minding her own business, but she was also startled. Like, are you fine? Like, are you okay? You just like crash landed into the river. And then the other girl was like, well, all her clothes were wet from being in the river, so she had to strip. She had to strip to change her clothes underneath the like this yeah, there's a bridge. Give me an unnamed blade. I don't know. Anyway, then after that, she's like, "Oh wow, I'm so down to my panties." Well, off they go then, and it turned out she had a she had another set. She had a set like a change of clothes, but she didn't bring extra undies, so she changed into other clothes and then didn't have undies. Anyway, anime makes me so happy, boys. Like, I hate my life. I do. I genuinely hate my life. But I love anime girls. It is. How is this about board games? It is about board games. What kind of list are you trying to get us on? Wait, why would we be on the list? Anyway, skirt and no panties. Yes, please. You rolled a nat one, no more panties for you, right? Exactly. So anyway, that girl with the brown hair is very like outgoing and extroverted, and she adopts the blue-haired girl sort of. You know how extroverts do this thing to introverts where they're like, "You have to go and be social with me. You have to go out with me." So then commanding random UFO that fly to pass goodbye. Anyway, they were walking around on an adventure and they got lost, and there was a beautiful scene about why you can't really be lost if you don't have a destination, so they're only pretend lost because they don't really have any place that they're trying to be. They were just hanging out. And then, wait, I'll explain the buff guy. Wait. So then you have the girl with the glasses, and she's the class president, and they're all in the same class. Like, yeah. So, the class president lectured everybody and said, "You guys are not allowed to be out, you know, out and about after 6 p.m. That's bad for students. You should be at home, right?" And like while the two girls in the forefront were going on their adventure, they spotted the class president in like an alleyway, like a kind of suspicious alleyway where they have all these buildings and like sketchy areas. So they decide to stalk her surreptitiously. And they follow her into this building up to the 3rd floor. Turns out the girl is employed. So even though she's out past the curfew, it's because she got permission from the school. She has a job and she works at this what they call analog game store, tabletop game store. And the bald-headed big guy, I think he's there for contrast to make the girls even cuter. And he's not needed, to be honest, because they're so cute even before his presence. But he should have suggested free run for 5 day. No, this is a good one. I like this anime. I only watched one episode so far, but it's really cute. I didn't get to meet the blonde hair girl yet, but maybe in the next episode. I don't have a this or that today prepared for you because I didn't prepare it. So I will just ask you guys to allow me. I actually don't need your permission. I will bring it to you tomorrow. I have an idea for it, but I didn't have enough time to prep it. So you have one day to like test your luck and see if you can guess it without any clues. Anyway, what else did I do today? Today I looked at my bank account and that inspired the title of today's stream. So I feel like I'm in an impossible predicament, but it's not actually impossible. It's just not ideal, right? It's just not ideal. So I have a ton of debt, as you guys know. I paid off my credit card debt, but now I still have student loan debt. Um, pushing 6 digits. It's not there yet, but it's pretty close. I made bad choices, right? So I know that I need to figure out a business plan so I can start accumulating more wealth. And yeah, and there's a couple of things. So I want to be able to cover my living expenses so that I don't have to leech max. And then I want to be able to afford to live somewhere that's not where I currently live because I don't want to live with my family. And then eventually I want to have no debt. So I want to be able to pay off this massive student loan debt. And I want to do it by being an entrepreneur. Not impossible, you just gotta work like your life depends on it. I don't have to do anything. But yeah. I think the what is it called? The wisdom, the common wisdom would be to grind really hard and work as many jobs as you can get, whether whatever. Um, but yeah, I want to do things the hard way. I'll just say that because, like, I already talked about this enough. Yeah. Um, do you need to live in the same locality as you currently do, though? No, Ryu 137. I didn't say anything about living in the same locality. I want to move. I do want to move. Burn down colleges because it's a fucking scam and should be free. Hey, I didn't say that. I was just reading the chat. It's more complicated than that, but also yes, but also more complicated. Try country with medical care. Meow meow. Meow. Shouldn't be free, should be affordable, but government subsidies are cancer. Anyway, so the title of this stream is because like I started reading Sapiens finally. I've been wanting to read it, but I finally started reading it. And it's so exciting cuz I'm trying to learn things about the world and myself and my place in it. And although I went through schooling and got a degree plus a degree plus and then some, um I think my goal before was like in the system, right? My goal as a student was mostly to get good grades in classes and not to learn things for the sake of learning or for the sake of like expanding my knowledge base. And maybe that's a mistake, but we could talk about that another time about like incentives and stuff like that. So, although I've learned about all of the things I've read in these past couple of pages of Sapiens, like the first few pages of Sapiens, I've learned about all of it before, but it didn't really stick because before I was only learning it for a test, and now I'm reading it on my own. It's the same thing with history. I really didn't like history. It was my least favorite class in school, but now I've found an interest in history. And yeah. What is Sapiens about? It's about humans. It's about the history of humans. But humans doesn't just mean Homo sapiens. Humans are like all of the different um all of the species under the genus Homo. Indoctrination learning versus free learning. Yes, exactly. Only humans has it right. Also good meowing. It's anthropology. I've read it myself, was a great book. Oh, thank you. For yeah, the vote of confidence. I'm enjoying it a lot already and I will read it more. But anyway, it made me think a lot because like so much of advice given, so much things that I say to you and that people say to me is given with a confidence of like, this is the way things are. This is the way the world is and has to be. But history proves otherwise. Humans have not been on this earth very long if you think about the history of the earth. And also, our species, well, we kind of seem hell bent on eliminating ourselves for some reason. So that's like a whole other thing. Who knows how long who knows how long the human race will continue. I love Norwegians. What do you mean? We stand Neanderthals. Yeah. Yeah. Humans wouldn't have made it past groups of 100 without religion. I mean, I mean, that's an opinion. But yeah, I found it interesting because like people so sorry if I'm being really unclear. That's my fault. But let's use the example of college, like a university degree. It was not that long ago when everyone and their mom would say, get a degree, go to college. That's the way to become successful in life, right? And today, there's like all of these caveats and asterisks around that advice, where before it was kind of just a blanket statement, um, without a lot of talk about other things, because as colleges opened up and universities opened up and changed their goal of, you know, of like imparting knowledge to acquiring more revenue from more tuition. Things change, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I'm not generally down on formal education. Okay. Sometimes wisdom that worked is no longer true. Random passerby, thank you very much. You said it a lot more eloquently than I could think about it. Um, and everything, it depends on each person, whatever, right? Every person is a little bit different. Now, you could do probabilistic thinking and say that maybe on average, compared to someone without a degree, you'll be better off if you have a degree. But that's like, I could just say those words, but I don't like saying those words. You could be someone who gets a degree who has your parents pay for the entire degree. Or you could be someone who gets a full ride scholarship and comes out of college with no student loan debt. Or you could be someone who goes to a for-profit university, spends a lot of money or takes out a lot of loans, and then the university loses its accreditation and your degree means nothing, but you're still on the hook for the loans. So like, there's nuance. Anyway, um, yeah, I got interested in like how long, like, yeah, how I got to where I am now, where all the things I believe, where did they come from? And I have a lot of reading and learning to do, but it fills me with joy and excitement. I want to do that. And I want to know more about like philosophy and psychology. Um, but I think more important than that, um I think I need to learn more mathematics and physics, and I think I also need to learn more about history to put everything in context, because philosophy and psychology, it's like it's about the human condition and the brain in like a very real way. A lot of it is. But can you really understand humans without knowing history or knowing science? Like, I don't know if that's true. So, anyway, that's all I'm saying. I said a lot of things. Kamyani Bangai, the stream is over. I gotta go. I had a quote for you all, but instead of downloading it, I accidentally, I guess, just closed the window without downloading it. So the quote today is today, now. It was just two words. Today, period. Now, period. And I was going to tell you that I stole it from somewhere of unknown origin, maybe from a book, maybe from Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter in ages, which is a good thing, by the way. How do you feel about opposable thumbs and their impact? I think opposable thumbs are overrated. Hear me out. I think cats are winning. I think cats are the supreme species. All of them. Actually, all of the cats are just they're the supreme family. So whether it's the big cats or the domesticated cats or whatever else. The first gulp from the glass of natural sciences will turn you into an atheist, but at the bottom of the glass, God is waiting, by Werner Heisenberg. I'm curious about that quote because for me, it was the opposite. For me, it was the exact opposite. It was the first glass of the Bible that turned me into an atheist. And then at the bottom of the glass, I was still an atheist. Wait. I had a 90K job with no paper. What's the advantage of the paper? Unnamed blade. I don't, none for you. Anyway, I'm losing my brain cells right now. Yeah. Yeah. So everybody's different. You could keep telling me to get a job, but I don't want to. I want to be a business owner. So I want to start a business. And what kind of business? Well, that's up to me. I don't want to tell you because what if you compete with me? Or what if you try to talk me out of it? Or whatever. Yeah, leave me alone. Don't worry about it. I'm just sharing I'm just sharing with you the journey and the process along the way. I'm not business owners often work very hard. I'm gonna end the stream on that note. Have a good day, everyone.